Hi, this is Tony with 707 Promotions, and today I'm going to tell you a little of my story because I've been in customer service and sales literally for decades. I like helping people, but I've always done kind of marketing sort of stuff. One day I got a job with a company that sourced promotional products, and they sourced a particular kind of promotional product. Instead of pulling something off a shelf and printing your logo on it, we make these things where the entire product is designed from scratch and made custom. So, for example, these are lapel pins, and this is something that I did a lot of. This was probably the main thing, and lapel pins are super fun. They are great for making people kind of feel like part of things. This was for a high school. This is another really nice one, and that one was done for a group of donors. And it's something, metal is just feels valuable. It's something you can wear and feel proud of and looks good. So it worked really, really well when you wanted to reward donors, employees, customers, participants, volunteers, that sort of thing. So let me tell you a little bit about the nuts and bolts of things like lapel pins. So this one, for example, is what we call die stamp. So what we do is we make a mold and we stamp it, stamp the pin usually out of iron. It's less expensive if we can do it out of iron. If it's an intricate design, we may have to put it in brass, which is more expensive. And then we take, in the little depressions we stamped in there, we fill it with this enamel, liquid enamel, and then we bake it, and the enamel kind of sinks in and goes in. This is called soft enamel, and it's really common. Comes out really nice, makes a nice pin that people feel good about. It can be as bright. We can match your PMS color, so it can be as bright as you want it to be. It's a great way, again, to make people feel like they're part of a larger item, a larger group. So this is a different pin. This is made with a different process called die casting. And die casting is made, we do it with a zinc alloy. And when we die cast, we can do things we could never do with stamp. We could do this really unusual outer shape. This long leg we could never do with a stamp. A hole in the middle, like that R, that absolutely has to be cast. And then the other thing we can do with stamping is that we can create some what I call dimensionality. Like this coin here, we actually kind of sculpted the shape of the founder. This coin was a 50th anniversary of the founding of a company, and we put a picture of the founder by casting him right on into the coin. This one, which is a pretty fun story, is it was for Harvard, and they had won the Ivy League Cup 3 years in a row, and they wanted to celebrate. We cast the actual trophy right into the pin. The pin's in the shape of a football, and it celebrated them winning 3 years in a row. They gave this to alumni and donors. It was a great, great item for them. So, pins can be really effective at bringing a group together and encouraging more participation, which you want from your donors and your volunteers and your employees. So it works really well that way. Now, there's a higher quality of enamel, and this is called hard enamel. And what you do is you fill it in, and then you pretty high, and then after you bake it, you sand it down so it comes through. I call this jewelry quality because it's a nicer quality. One of the other things that we would do to make it feel more valued is, instead of handing it to you in a little plastic bag, we would give it in some kind of a case, like this little case that automatically makes it feel more valuable. What I should tell you about these products is that they are made in China, and they're going to take probably a minimum of 3 weeks to make. Sometimes you can't wait that long. So we do these kind of pins, and these pins, I'll be really honest, I don't like them quite as much, but sometimes, especially if time is a constraint, that's the way to go. And this is a recognition for employees of good service. So again, you see how pins are being used. The other reason to make a pin like this, by the way, is it can take a gradient, which you can't do with hard enamel or soft enamel either. But what we do with this is we just take a flat piece of metal and we print right on the metal, and then we cover it with epoxy so that it doesn't scratch off. And it allows us, we can do gradients. It goes much faster. It can be done in the United States. But you do see, one of the things I didn't like about this, and still don't, is that the white, you can't get a bright white. The epoxy changes the light in such a way that it doesn't come out really bright. Now, the other things we do, you saw this coin. And, coins are something we do a lot of. Actually, this one's really interesting. We do a lot for the military. They really, the military coin can be a real great way of bringing a group together. This is for the USO, as you can see. I think you can see that. And then on the back side, we have the 5 branches of military. This is getting very, very intricate and harder to do, but we did it all the time because we did so many coins for the military. And coins, as you can see, do not have to be round. So coins are something, again, they feel good in your hand, they feel valuable, people appreciate them, and feel like they're part of an important group. They feel acknowledged, and they feel part of the group. I'm going to mention the other thing we did was silicone bracelets, and I still see silicone bracelets used a lot for events, and again, to make people feel like part of the group. See them a lot for religious sort of events, but I'll just show you that there's like 3 ways to decorate them. So there's this way where we stamp it into the mold. I don't know if you can see this, but there is text, where is it, stamped in there. This one's stamped in, so that's debossed. This is actually raised, so that's called embossed, but that's part of the mold. I generally prefer to simply screen print on a plain bracelet because the contrast allows you to read it much more easily. There is a third way. It's a little higher end, but what this is, we would actually deboss the pattern in there and then fill it with color, so that you did get the contrast and the permanence. Screen print is not going to be as permanent as debossing. So you got the best of both worlds, and of course it is a little bit more expensive to do that. So again, great ways to make people feel part of a group, and to feel honored as part of the group. Silicone bracelets, we did a lot for kids in camps too. So anyway, to keep this down to just a short thing was hard for me because I know a lot about this. I could do and I may yet do an entire thing on platings, but let's leave it there for today. If you need lapel pins, coins, any type of metal things, like we did jewelry, we did Christmas decorations, we did bottle openers, we did all sorts of interesting things. So give me a call, 707-861-1774, or email me, Toni, Toni, at 707promotions.com. Have a great day. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.